Evening. Welcome to another episode of Let's Chop It Up with Eric Davis. I am Eric Davis. All right. Coming to hope everybody's had a great day. Had a great week so far. It's almost the end of the week. Friday is tomorrow. All right, we get ready for the weekend. I know, fellas, you're getting ready for the game tonight. So just wanted to come on real quick tonight, and we're going to talk about tonight. Are you the example? All right. I know it may seem a little off, but it's a thought that I had. Um, just thinking on some things and everything that we do. Are we being the examples, good or bad? All right. I think a lot of times we get so caught up in what we got going on that sometimes we forget about people are looking to us as the examples, or how do we handle ourselves in situations where uh, we may not necessarily be favored. All right, how do we react to those situations? Are we continuing to be the examples, all right, that we need to be? Now there's another side of that. um Sometimes if we're, well, I won't say sometimes, if you happen to be uh, in a relationship and you're, I don't want to say personifying, you're being all you can be, and you're trying to make sure that you're being the best version of yourself, and uh, you're gonna falter at times, all right, and it's okay uh, to have a breakdown. All right, because you want to, if you're in a safe space, it's okay for you to have a breakdown. It's okay. You're being the example of someone who is in a safe space, all right, and reacts the way someone reacts in a safe space. All right. So I think we need to make sure that we understand uh, what being an example really means. And I know it can go a number of different ways. Um, as men, we always try to be the example of who we want our children to look up to, who we want to be in the lives of our children. If we've got daughters, we want to be the father and the husband that they strive for. If we're, we want to be the best version of who we are, who we can be. And that's not mean we're going to be perfect. Doesn't mean we're going to be perfect. All right. It means that we're you're taking a self-examination of the things that have happened, the things that you do, um, situations, how you react to certain situations are really, really critical and key. We had a little freeze up there. So I want to take a little moment. We're not going to be on long. I'm preparing for a big thing tomorrow at work. and wanted to make sure we come on tonight. And listen, we got to make sure something that I was tempted not to come on tonight because I got frustrated. All right, because I got frustrated, I was trying to get some things done, rushing in from work, trying to get some things done, trying to take care of something, and something just would not cooperate. All right. And it literally just had me frustrated. All right. Had me frustrated to no end. And thank God for my wife. She got me something cool to drink. I did that. I came in, I sat down, I was able to vent. All right. I was in a safe space. I was able to vent, get it out of my system. I went back out, tried it again. All right, it didn't work. I left it. I said, okay, we're gonna roll with what we got, and it's gonna be okay. All right. I didn't allow it to completely overwhelm me because now some years back it would have completely overwhelmed me. And it would have got on my nerves all night. All right. But I've come to understand that some things are really not that important. All right. You have to be the example of understanding it's okay. All right. Yeah, you get frustrated. Things may not go your way, but it's how we react. All right. When they don't go our way, how we recover. So we have to be the example, we talk in ministry about being the examples of holiness, so on and so forth. But you got to be in the everyday walk. You have to be an example to those. You never know who's watching, man. You never know who's watching. I have conversations all the time, several times a day with the young cats who are, we talk, we joke, we laugh. A lot of times we talk about serious situations. We talk about family situations. We talk about relationships, we talk about children. We talk about things that are going on in their lives that they're dealing with. They need an ear. And you have to be the example of someone who really takes the time out to listen. All right. They don't want nothing from you. They just want you to listen. So I have to be that example of a person that really cares and and is olive branch. All right. For someone else. All right. I may not have an answer, but I have an ear. All right. A lot of times we can't fix everybody. We can't fix every problem. A lot of times, not for us to speak on everything, but we can have a listening ear and we can pray for them. All right. We can let them know that we're here for them. We're gonna come. We're gonna be there for them. We're gonna support them. We're gonna undergird them. All right. If they need to talk to us, they can call. They can text. Whatever they need. All right. We want to be that example of just being someone that they can be secure, where they have a safe space where they can be secure, be the example of a person who really has their best interests at heart. Now I know you may not be like that with everybody, all right? But for some people, they're watching you to see how you handle yourselves and how you help other people. All right. Somebody's always watching us. All right. Somebody's always little hiccup here. All right. Had a little hiccup tonight with this Wi-Fi, but we're gonna get through it. All right. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna be the example of how to get through. All right, when we have hiccups with the Wi-Fi. All right. So we're gonna keep pushing forward. I was in a conversation the other day. Something did not go in my favor. All right. But I won't say it didn't go in my it seems to be it may not be going in my favor. And the conversation I had with that person, well, listen, I'm just gonna keep pushing forward. That was the best way I knew to explain it. I wasn't gonna get all politically correct. I'm just gonna keep pushing forward. I had a conversation with my wife. If it's for me, it's for me. But I'm not gonna let it dictate how I present myself, how I handle myself, how I go forward and doing what I'm supposed to do and what I need to do. All right, I'm gonna be the example of continue to get the job done regardless of the situation. All right, nobody will ever know, all right, that I may be discouraged, I may be disappointed, I may be upset. Nobody will ever know because I'll continue to do what I need to do, continue to be who I need to be. All right. And it's not putting on a facade or front. It's just, okay, that thing didn't work out. Let me move on to the next thing. All right. I think we have to keep that mindset of, this doesn't work out, then there's something else for me. If this plan doesn't work, all right, let's move on to the next plan. What's the next step? What's the next avenue? What's around the next corner? All right. Am I preparing? Are you preparing yourself, all right, for the next thing that's coming? Are you being the example of, you won't catch me slipping? All right. Are you? So we got to make sure that we're prepared. preparation is key. All right. We have to be the example of what's the next move. I know a lot of times years ago, our job was when I was physically demanding, we had a lot going on. I was one of those people. Let me get in the heat of the thing. Let me, when it's busy, I like to react. I ain't got to think about what the next step is. I do better when it's moving. I got to react to it. All right. So, and I think some people are. I'm just wired that way. We talked about last week. That's my DNA. All right, I'm wired that way. That's the example that I shared. We're gonna get in here and get it done. All right, let's move forward. We're gonna direct and dictate while we're moving. All right, while we're making changes, while we're moving into this place. All right, we're moving on that place. Let's be moving and let's make moves. All right, let's make sure that we are going forward. All right. And we're not taking setbacks. We have to be the example of, because you got people watching you, man. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, people are watching you. You're going to either be a good example, all right, or a bad example. All right. How you handle yourself. You can look at how you handle finances, how you handle your relationships. I think the biggest thing, especially if you have children, whether young or old, the relationship that you have with your spouse, your significant other, how you handle that person. Are you the example of what your children want to be and want to see in their relationships as they get older? That's key. I think that's key because a lot of time we forget we shape. If you don't understand, you shape and mold your children just by the representation of what they see. You can't fake the funk with the people that are close to you because they see you. They know who you are. You can be, and a lot of people are looking to be, what's the word? They're looking for something that you may have. Be great examples. I never forget when my kids were younger. We'd always have kids. We always have kids around. Young girls, always, because all I have is girls. So younger would always be around. And we were an example for some of them because some of their homes didn't have two parents in the home. The relationship between the parents may not have been the best. So but we always had kids in around us in the home, and we were an example, and we fostered those relationships to this day. All right. Can call them now. They're in my phone now. Call them. I made a call out of the blue, may get a text out of the blue, say, hey, just think about Mr. Eric. We love you, love you. And those are the things that you cherish. Those are the things that money cannot buy. All right. You foster those relationships. You show yourself friendly. You show yourself to be a person of character. You show yourself to be loving. You show yourself to be caring. You're just trying to be the best version of you that you can be. All right. Because you never know what someone is dealing with. All right. The little small things, all right, the small things that you show concern, you show understanding, you show that you care. It's just the small things that make a difference. All right. Small things. My wife got me a football glass. Thank God for her. My little gift. She always doing something. I appreciate her. So we want to make sure that we're being the best examples that we can be. All right. I try to be that because I never know what conversation I'm going to be in. I never know when I'm going to get questioned about something. I never know when somebody's dealing with something and they're looking for some guidance or some direction, or just need to. I've had to be in situations where guys have just come in and poured their hearts out. Guys have cried, didn't understand what's going on. So I had to be that example of, this is a safe space. All right. This is a safe space. So I think it's key that we understand the timing, we understand the moment, and we understand the season, man. Listen, I know I put out the other morning about seasons. As seasons change, all right, you have to adapt to each season as it changes. All right. You have to be the example of understanding when a season changes and adapting into it. All right. Are you the example that they can glean from? Are you the example that they run away from? Now, listen, we've all had some examples that we did not want to follow. I know for me, as a young cat, I saw people that I know doing certain things that I said I would never do. All right, that was an example of something I didn't need to do. All right, and it was betterment for me. It helped me. Other cats got involved in it. I was not one to get involved in it. All right, you hear a lot of times your your surroundings don't have to dictate your outcome. Your surroundings don't have to dictate your attitude and your altitude. All right, you can go above where you came from. All right, does not mean that you big headed. You ain't conceited. It's just the things that could have hindered others didn't hinder you. All right, because I had a strong example of what to do and what not to do. I saw examples of people doing things that I know they shouldn't do. So I did not follow those examples. All right. I went another way. I did what was best for me to do. All right. So now I've made mistakes and I haven't always been the best example of what you should do, but I have grown and I try to correct those things and try to be that person who's a good example of what a husband should be. I'm not the best husband. I'm not the perfect husband. I'm not the greatest father, but I try to be the best version of me that I can be. All I can do is be me. All you can do is be you. All you can do is be the best example of someone. Be the best example of who you are. And we talked about last week, man, anything that's in you that you need to get out of you, you need to work on that thing because people are watching. Fellas, I cannot say it enough. Somebody is always watching you. Somebody's always got their eye on you. Somebody's always got their ear listening for you. They're listening to see what you're going to say. They're listening to see how you're going to react. They're listening to see, all right, to hear how you going to open what's going to come out of your mouth. Are you going to speak negative? All right, you're going to talk trash. You're going to tear somebody down. You're going to lift them up. You're going to pray for them. What are you going to do? Someone is always listening. Someone's always watching. Someone's always got their eye on you. Believe it or not, all right? But it's just, you may say, but it's just me. Oh, yeah, it's just you. But you never know the influence that you have. Fellas, I need to understand you got influence, man. That is part of your DNA, part of your makeup. You have influence and you don't even know it. And I need you to understand who you are, all right? Understand that you are someone who can change the lives of other people. I know that's heavy, man. I know it's heavy, but it's the truth. It is the God's honest truth. You have the power to change someone's life. And I don't want us to take that for granted. That's something I've learned within these last 25, 30 years. You have the influence, all right, and the know-how. But biggest thing, you have the influence to change someone's life. That's powerful, man. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about you have their mindset, their attitude, their thought process, their manual, their lifestyle. You have the opportunity to change someone's life just by being your authentic self. Just by being the example of who you are, how a good person should be, how a man should react, how he should act, how he should take care of himself, take care of his loved ones. Uh, uh, be respectful of his friends and his family, his loved ones. All of that stuff is key. I know, for those of us that were born in the 70s and the 80s, I was born in 72. So we came up in a generation where the neighborhood raised us. We saw the examples, all right? I got a neighborhood whooping and then got home and mama was waiting on me. So that's a generation we grew up in the 80s. We grew up in the crack epidemic. All right. So we saw that in the 90s. We grew up in all of that. I was a young man and the crack epidemic hit. They considered us endangered species. If anybody remembers that back in the early 90s when the crack epidemic hit, they considered us endangered species. So, it's I just want you to understand and really grasp the importance of understanding that you can make a difference in someone's life just by being the example. All right, being the example, who you are, your DNA, your makeup. We talked about it last week. Your DNA, your makeup. Make sure, all right, make sure, man, that you're working on getting anything out of you that's going to hinder you, that's going to cause you to stumble. All right. Now we're gonna make mistakes, but listen, it's okay to make a mistake, but don't let that mistake snowball into something else. All right. Understand what happened, get through it. All right. Things may not go your way. It's cool, it's all right. It's all right if things don't go your way. All right. Recover, regroup, all right, and get back on track. It's okay. We got a lot of things that we have to deal with daily, all right. So if you're like me, you're always thinking about what the next thing or what you got to take care of, what you could do better, how you're going to take care of the next thing. You know, how do you take care of it without hindering where you are? How do you be beneficial about doing it? You know, and you don't have to take on everything by yourself, especially especially if you're married, because that's why you're in a union. All right. You'll become one. You have a spouse, someone. Listen, fellas, I had to learn the hard way. Um, Mara told me you don't have to take on everything yourself. I understand you want to, but you don't have to. That was a weight that was taken off my shoulders. All right. I strive to do. All right. But I know I got help. I know I got assistance. I know I got somebody got my back and it's in my corner. All right. So I'm being the best example of who I know, who I know to be. All right. That's all and listen, man, that's all you can do. You ain't got to put on no fake, you ain't got to put on no front, no facade. It's about being the best version of you, and that's all you can really be. All right. Yes, we struggle with certain situations. Yes, we deal with certain situations, and I'm talk about it a little more in depth when we go live on our live meeting. When we go in our live meeting, we'll talk about certain things, and but we want to just break up some stuff, man. Break up some stuff. Stop worrying about. I think one of the biggest things we worry about what somebody else is going to think of us. Man, listen. If you let what other people think of you control you, then you are we got to have a whole nother conversation. All right. We got to have a whole nother conversation. All right. We want to make sure that the people that are in our circle, the people who we communicate with, who we interact with on a day-to-day basis, the people that we know we can depend on, that we feel safe with, those are the only people you should really be worried about. I'm not a big uh, uh, what's the word? I'm not a big um, firm person of clicks and I hear clickbait and all that stuff. Listen, you got thumb bandits. All right, thumb bandits sit there. They're gonna text about it. They're gonna talk about it. Everybody's got an opinion about something. All right, everybody's got an opinion about something. So, but you got to understand, they don't know you. They don't know who you are. All right. They don't, all they want to, they're living by watching you. All right. A lot of, you got these influencers. People are living, they're actually living their life watching somebody else. All right. Who has no value. Stop allowing people that have no value. All right, make decisions for you because you're not mentally strong enough or emotionally strong enough to understand that they have no value. What happens is you now have given them value in your life, but you don't have a relationship. How can you give someone value and not have a relationship? That's good. All right, that's good. How do you allow someone to have value in your mental, your your mental space, but you have no relationship with them whatsoever? How do you do that? all right, you're not being a good example of someone who is mentally tough, who's mentally strong, all right? I think a lot of times we've allowed uh, too many people to pour into us, all right, who are not beneficial for us. And that has that has warped a lot of people because they're not being great examples for you. And I think people that you have gleaned from, that have been good examples for you to follow, I think those are the things that help us become better examples for somebody else. All right. I think that's key. I think that's key. All right. I think a lot of times we look at uh people, we want people to be the examples for us. All right. That's just because we cool with them, but they might not be the examples that we need them to be. All right. I know some people, certain individuals, and I don't want to get into all that, but I know individuals who my heart goes out for. And we try to be an example for them, for that person, because that person doesn't have a partner that respects and appreciates them. All right. And so when we talk and we conversate, we show respect and appreciation for our loved ones. But I don't feel that person is getting that respect and appreciation from their loved one. And so we try to be the best examples we can be. All right. And I think that's pretty much all we can do. Make sure that you are cognizant of everything that's going on around you. All right. Because we take, whether we believe it or not, we're taking things from every little thing we see, we hear is coming in our mental, in our subconscious, and we're hearing all this stuff. And if we're not careful, we'll start regurgitating the stuff that we've heard and it's not good for us. All right. And it doesn't do us any good. So we're not being good examples of how we handle ourselves, what we allow to go in our mental and our spiritual. We got to make sure that we guard ourselves. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they were dealing with a situation, and I said, "Listen, don't." So many words. Paraphrase. Don't be discouraged because you have a good heart and a big heart. But what you got to learn to do is guard your heart. All right. What you got to learn to do is guard your heart. Man, we gotta have a part about, we gotta deal with some relationship stuff soon. All right. And I don't want just the dudes, I want the sisters to get in because we it's coming. All right. It's coming because I'm hearing and I'm listening and it's being brought to me, especially about relationships and things that people are dealing with. And I think that's coming. All right. But that's not what we're here for tonight. All right. Just being, but that's part of it because if you're in relationships, you want to be the best version of yourself. All right. You want to be the example because, like I said, somebody got a girlfriend watching, somebody got a partner that's watching. They might be watching. They watching. If you're in a relationship, they looking at you and they looking at how you and your significant other react to each other, how you handle each other. All right, how you joke with one another. If you got a little strife going on between one another, how you handle that. All right. Because you got to make sure now, because some people want to speak against what you got going on. Hurt people hurt other people. All right. So you got to make sure that you got, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Make sure you got a good hold on if you're in a relationship. And it may not have to be that serious, but if you're enjoying the relationship, don't let somebody speak negative of what you're enjoying. All right, because they may not be in the best situation. Their relationship may be trash. Let's just put it out there. All right. They may not be happy. So they're not going to want you to be happy. All right. So be mindful if someone's always speaking on what you got going on, worrying about your business, all in your Kool-Aid, worrying about what you're doing, who you with, why you spending time with that person. You got to be mindful of that. All right. Hurt people hurt other people. All right. So just wanted to come on tonight, man. We talk it up real good about are you the example? Make sure that you are being the best version of yourself. And that's the only example that you can absolutely be is the best version of yourself in any area that you have going on. All right. Listen, want to make sure that you continue to click, like, and share. I appreciate it on tonight. You coming on, just taking a few moments. I know we're getting ready for the game coming on. I got some stuff I got to do, get ready for tomorrow. All right. So I got got a little work to put in. All right. Had a late night last night. Don't want to be that late tonight, but I want you to have a great weekend, man. Tomorrow's fantastic Friday. Enjoy yourself. Have a great day at work. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Sit back, watch some ball. All right. If you hang out with the family, do whatever that makes you comfortable, that relaxes you, that you enjoy. Enjoy the time that you've been given. All right. Because we only get one life, and I want you to enjoy it to the fullest. Real men, real conversations, getting real results. Don't forget, click, like, share, repost. All right. Tell somebody about us. We're coming back with you. All right. We'll chop it up with you later. This is Eric Davis. Let's chop it up. We'll holler at you soon. We out.